Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson of House Sexy Soccer Player Priest. Part of the Legacy Coven.
I think you mean to say House Glendale.
House Glendale, that's right. Part of House Glendale.
We're all here convened in House Glendale, a meeting of the Legacy tonight. And we are initiating a brand new member into the Legacy. Special guest Jennifer Ortega.
Yes, it's me.
It is I. Keep that key close.
Yes. Co-owner of Muse TV. That's www.musetv.net. I got it right.
Yeah. We had Michael Sandoval on a couple episodes ago, and we thought we'd get the better half on.
Yes.
That's right.
The wild side of us.
He'd probably agree.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't actually. He'd be like, I'm the better. I'm like, no, you're not. We all know the truth, Mike.
Well, we'll find out at the end of this episode if we're talking about something better than Rambo Last Blood.
Although I really enjoyed that episode.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, before we get too far, we just want to, like we start off every show just saying thanks to everyone for listening. And if you want to reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on each and every episode, where can people reach us?
Yeah, we're really close to the end of Poltergeist for now. So please let us know your suggestions for future franchises at sequelrights@gmail.com and reach out to us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, @sequelrights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. The reviews mean a ton. You'll find out later in this episode if you unite 5 keys together, you can open up a portal to hell. If you give us 5 stars, it'll open up a portal to somewhere.
Yes!
And we'll talk about it at a later podcast.
I love that.
It could be Albuquerque. We'll find out.
That's right. Well, this week we are moving on from the core trilogy of Poltergeist into a very strange spin-off series called Poltergeist: The Legacy.
Right.
We've gone from 1988 all the way to 1996.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, we're a little bit further in future. Maybe the special effects will be better. Now, this is normally the part where we play the trailer, but I was unable to find an ad for the show.
Right.
So instead, we get to hear the lovely intro to this episode.
Perfect.
That you'll hear, but it's kind of like inexplicably being done in like a Transylvanian accent or something.
This is the intro for every episode, by the way.
Yeah. All right, well, here we go.
Since the beginning of time, mankind has existed between the world of light and the world of darkness. Our secret society has been here forever, protecting others from the creatures who inhabit the shadows and the night, known only to the initiated by our true name, the Legacy.
Since the beginning of time.
So
that
that honestly it is the dulcet tones of Derek DeLint, who plays Derek in the show. He is a apparently very famous, well-respected actor in the Netherlands. And so I believe that is where this accent come from.
I thought you were going to say in Canada.
Yeah, most of his credits are like movies that I cannot read you the name of because they are in Dutch would be the language in the Netherlands. Yeah. Anyways, so his accent, it's never really explained, but this is an actor who is not American, so he does not.
It also, I kept waiting for someone in the show to have that same sound, and I feel like he doesn't talk like that in the show.
No one does, yeah.
He doesn't.
He's not like, my father was the Legacy player.
He should have.
It could be that maybe he gets better as the show goes on and kind of drops the accent, but no, he kind of does talk with some. You can always tell that there's some kind of accent, and then the priest guy is Irish, and there's a bunch of characters in Ireland, especially in this pilot.
The accents are
and then
the best
but really, I'm pretty sure almost everybody other than Derek DeLint is Canadian because this was filmed in Canada, even though it takes place in San Francisco. And every episode, there's a shot of the Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz.
It's San Francisco.
It was on Showtime.
It was on Showtime. Yeah. It started on Showtime in 1996 and for 3 seasons, and then the 4th season was picked up by Sci-Fi.
Which weirdly was also how Stargate SG-1 got started, which I didn't realize.
Oh,
Apparently it was Showtime, and then Sci-Fi bought it out.
Because that was a year later.
Yeah. So I didn't realize. So it was like Showtime was getting into.
I didn't even realize that Showtime had original programming.
No, me
this
neither.
early. I had heard. I guess their first one ever was the Shelley Duvall Fairy Tale Theater, which I actually had heard of. But then this, and they did a lot of other genre things that were then later picked up in syndication by like various horror or genre themed branches of other cable channels. Like I think there was one called like Chiller and like something else.
Like there's
or, like,
Chiller
Showtime
or like Comet.
genre or whatever. Yeah.
Comet, yeah. Well, we go from this amazing intro straight, like, in media res into an episode of The Young Adventures of Indiana Jones.
It was super Indiana Jones in the beginning. Like, that's what it was. I was like, this is a crappy Indiana Jones.
Yeah. It's, the dad yelling at his stupid kid to shut the hell up.
Shut the hell up and let's rob this tomb.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care what you want to do, Derek. I don't care if you're on vacation. I got shit to do.
Yeah. I have a hat to wear.
It's not responsible parenting, I'll tell you that.
Right.
It's not. In Peru, in the middle of Peru.
I know. And Derek gets so mad he throws the map out the window.
That's right.
Fucking Derek. I mean, he'll never learn, as we might see later. But yeah, so the dad is on this quest to find something.
In darkest Peru.
That's right.
I think that they're sepulchers. How do you pronounce that?
Sepulchers.
No, sepulcher.
Yeah.
Sepulcher.
There's 5 of them. They're boxes with, they look like ballot boxes or
they're like
suggestion boxes. Yeah.
It's really weird because they're boxes that apparently are supposed to be housing some sort of demon, yet there's a hole in the top.
There's a slot in the top.
Which, that makes no sense.
Yeah, but when you turn the key, then whatever it is can come out of the slot, but the box doesn't really open.
Yeah. And throughout the episode, the box seems to be of varying weights. Sometimes it looks
very
like a
heavy.
prop. Sometimes it's like, oh god, this is a real box. But he walks up this crazy looking like staircase. Like I don't know where they shot that, but it looked like this like never ending staircase that was built up like a giant wall or something, like wooden staircase, into a cave, and then of course there it is. The sepulcher.
Sepulcher. I can't even say it.
Sepulcher. Yeah, it's really, I don't know why it's so hard to pronounce.
It's because it's mystic. It's an antiquity. He finds it, and of course, as you do, he becomes totally obsessed with it immediately and has to open it.
Mm-hmm. And he releases a PlayStation 1 graphic.
Even he goes to open it, even though I feel like he says something like, "Oh, we need to be careful." with
and
what's
his son's
inside.
like, "Dad, no, don't do it!" Like,
shut up, Derek.
Shut up, Derek.
Let me do this.
All you want to do? We went hang gliding this morning. Now we're doing dad things.
Yeah. And he opens it up, and a crazy goblin comes out. And it's like,
best looking skeleton you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You know what it looks like? The cover of Killer Instinct, like that,
it does,
like that skeleton.
Yeah. Whoa. Or also like old like PAL skateboard decks, like that skeleton being like, "Hey, radical."
Yeah,
I feel like it would say radical.
Yeah.
He probably would.
So you want to buy some pogs?
Yeah. He grabs him by the legs and is dragging him in, and then I don't remember exactly what happens, but he dies. He kind of like gets attacked.
I think that it collapses and then it cuts to a fancy party. I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Well, Derek shows up and he's like,
how did Derek get back from Peru as a child? I want to know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Paddington.
He gets up there and his dad is like, Derek, I'm sorry, Derek. I only have one thing to give you. My bling. Here's this ring. It's super dope.
Oh, yeah.
It's got an L on it. Make sure you put it at the camera.
Legacy.
Yeah, and then the real credits begin.
Ooh. So yeah, his dad dies.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, he's the legacy. He has to carry on his father's legacy.
No, not really.
Of degrading at this point,
sure.
like of degrading tombs and doing this.
And being irresponsible around children, which throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Is
no
what he
good
does.
parenting.
No.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, such
So we
a terrible
find
thing.
out that the Legacy is actually like a secret organization of people protecting the world from like demons and ghosts and Satan and whatnot.
In the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Bay Area.
It's so secret, in fact, that they wanted to make sure that their architect put L's on everything.
Yes, but they have like a shell organization. They're supposed to be like some kind of antiquities collecting.
The Luna Foundation.
Yeah, Luna Foundation.
Also an L.
All L.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a big old mansion.
Super secret.
On an island, I guess.
Yeah, but
in San
that's what I'm trying to
Francisco
figure out.
somewhere.
We're in San Francisco, like Treasure Island, because that's where like
it
there's
must
trash.
be.
But, like,
Alcatraz.
where-
It's in the middle of
It's
Alcatraz.
not on Alcatraz, but I don't know where it is. It's like some other island in the bay. Because he later says, you're on an island, you can't escape, or whatever.
I used
Like-
to live in San Francisco. There's not a lot of...
Really?
Yeah, that was like not a lot of islands.
No, yeah,
there.
it's not like the Puget Sound or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's the
Okay.
Isle of Dr. Moreau. It's
Yeah, well, it's somewhere. And after all the people leave from the fancy party, we find out that to get into the secret lair within the house, you
This
walk
was
up.
amazing.
You walk up to a map on like an old-timey map on the wall that then scans your eye, and when you're confirmed, somehow the wall becomes walk-through, and then you can progress through a
phase
wall.
through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the moment where I was like, I'm like kind of bored with this show already. And then
this happened.
This happens, and I was like, what the fuck? I am all in.
Yeah, like what sort of ghost Batcave nonsense is happening here?
Because like he's been having these like visions, right? And yeah, then he walks up to the map, and you're in my mind, I was like, oh, he's gonna cross-reference the map with the book he's holding.
Or it's going to be like a secret bookcase door or something. But nope, he walks through a wall.
When that laser appeared, I was like, what the
I don't know what technology they were able to come up with, but we don't even have that technology
Well,
now.
yeah, and it doesn't.
so.
Like, it's unclear if the show's trying to tell you it's a hologram or if they've harnessed some mystical power. Like, there's a laser, and then he phases through a wall, and then it's just not explained.
No.
Yeah, and then
it's the beginning of Stargate.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
He goes straight to the computer, and he's
There
like,
should be more Kurt Russell.
There definitely should have been.
So somehow they find out that they need to go, that
everything.
there's 5 boxes. They have 4, right?
He has 4 boxes, and like the other one's never been found.
Yeah.
You
So
guys,
get a
army
call.
guy, and you, lady,
you guys are like crossing over all the amazing,
Okay,
jumping
sorry.
over all
Go
the
ahead.
amazing things in this
crossing
show.
over. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it's a long episode. We can't
very
hit
long.
every detail.
I wanted to say when he first goes to the computer, he has a little Rambo rage at the computer. He's like trying to look up his dad's dossier, and it's like going really slow, and he's like, God, computers. But when he goes to show everybody all of the like secret boxes he has down in other like boxes and boxes and boxes in his basement, he has this amazing like the first room had the laser wall or whatever, the hologram wall.
Yeah.
This room, you need to have a special pair of brass knuckles to open up the wall. Like puts on these brass knuckles, punches the wall, and then turns the key. And I was like, that is so fucking weird. Why does he have this? Why is it brass knuckles? I've never seen that used as like a secret key for a door.
That's how he got out of Peru.
I get
Yes, you're right. And there's 5 boxes because of the 5 points on the pentagram.
Spooky.
So yeah, if you get all 5 boxes and all 5 keys, you can open up the gates of hell.
Right.
Yes.
But they want to get all of them to keep them behind this brass knuckle door, I guess.
Yeah, the brass knuckle door.
Yeah.
To keep them from the demons.
And he has the geniusly stupid idea of like, instead of leaving the keys here in one place where no one will ever find them behind our hidden door, why don't we split up and put the keys around our necks and go
It's
towards
like
the
most
demon
person.
inefficient thing.
No.
Like, that's asking for it. I'm sorry, but you're asking for it.
I know.
Like, put them in safes, on your neck.
Especially how this happens. like we'll get into it.
so
Like the way their plan is incredibly
Oh, man.
dumb.
And who
So-
wants to wear a giant key all day around
No.
your neck?
Yeah, the members of the team are Alex, Robbie Chong. She's like research computer science girl.
Yep.
And then you have like Julia, who's like, I don't know, the cute girl that's going out with generic military guy.
The cute girl who's gonna die.
Yeah. And then
I guess, yeah.
what's his face? Reformed reject priest.
Right.
no,
Yeah.
He's not there yet, though.
Oh yeah. Well, he's
Nick.
the other guy.
It's like it has like we got like the action figure type guy. It's like the BK Kids Club grew up and then founded a legacy.
Nick is horrible. He never gets any better. Every episode. Okay, so I watched like 5 episodes of the show.
My God.
And I read a bunch of recaps, but like Nick is basically every episode the guy that's like, I don't think we should be doing this. I don't think there's anything here.
Like a moody teenage girl.
And then they prove him wrong.
Elias, he doesn't respect the forces he's up against.
Yes, that's right.
He's a rebel.
We've learned this from Priest Philip.
Priest Philip. So then we cut away to Ireland, where there's a family mourning, and there's a guy, just a random townie, who's like,
The Undertaker.
yeah, he's like, you should probably stop doing that because you're real annoying. He's just
And
like,
she should've-
he's like, well, you should get the fuck out of here. Like, oh, that's your husband? Like, oh, he's buried here? Well, you're not staying long, are you?
Yeah, because this place really sucks. Don't be here. She should have been like, well, actually, you're being annoying. I'm just trying to grieve my husband and
Yeah,
son.
why are you
Like,
so nosy? No.
So yeah, we have Rachel, who's Helen Shaver from Tremors 2. Remember, she was a Playboy centerfold.
That's right.
and
And we
her
see
daughter-
why.
Yeah, which comes in later. Remember, this is a Showtime show.
yeah. So she's like our, outside of the group protagonist for this, and her daughter, Catherine, is there. So they're mourning her husband and young son that were killed in a car accident.
That's correct.
And they're buried in Ireland for reasons because
He
that's
was
where
Irish,
he was from.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Connor and
People are even kind of like, wait, why are you burying them so far away where you
Right.
can like never visit? And they're like, that's
They
what he
like
wanted.
Expensive plane tickets. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Catherine runs away. I don't know why she runs. I can't remember
This
why
is
she runs
this
away.
is where I'm gonna like posit the very loose connections to the Poltergeist
Right.
franchise.
Yeah.
So extremely loose, you guys.
Yes, it's
It's so
barely
loose
related.
that, like, I'm going to say in the last movie, there was a lot of scenes where Carol Ann was wearing red, and Kathleen's also wearing red in this scene.
That's true.
Yeah, that's probably as close as it gets to
Yeah.
tying.
There's a speech, yeah. Or is
Wait,
that what you're going to
no,
say?
go
There's a
ahead.
speech where Derek tells Catherine that her power is her innocence and that only a child can, defeat these ghosts because of their innocence, which I believe that happened in one of the Poltergeists. Tangina gave that speech.
Yeah, that
Do
was in
we
Poltergeist 3, yeah.
believe that Tangina was part of the legacy at some point?
I mean, you could propose that, I think.
Sure.
I
believe I just did.
I feel like you could make a case for that, yeah.
So in season 1, episode 21,
Oh, yeah.
which I watched, Zelda Rubinstein does come onto the show. And it's the only main crossover, but her name is not Tangina. It is Christina.
Angina.
His orange Gina.
Her name is Christina. She's a medium that speaks to the ghosts that are haunting Rachel's dead aunt's family plantation and Derek's father. They communicate all through Christina, who talks to Kat, the little girl, only in like rhymes and limericks. So she's like a cross between Tangina and Leprechaun. Like, so she only she tells Kat what to do and how to get rid of the ghosts and all these things, but it's always in a rhyme. And of course, like they do the Craig T. Nelson thing where they're like, I don't trust her. What's the deal with her? And then at the end, they're all like, okay, Christina, whatever you say, let's all hold hands and do a chant in a circle and defeat the ghost.
Maybe she was autistic. That's what I'm getting from this. Why else were you speaking in?
If this show is like produced and owned by MGM, like why would they not?
Use that.
I don't know.
Make her be
if they had
Tangina.
her willing to come on, I don't know why they didn't just make her be Tangina.
That
It's
is
the killer writing.
that
That's
is
what
nuts.
it is.
That
That's
The
right.
great writing skills of the show.
This graveyard scene also brings back one of the themes from a lot of the Poltergeist movies: creepy ghosts calling out kids' names.
That's right.
And Justin. And the ghost or demon or whatever it is in this show was really funny to me because he's just like he sounds so pushy. Yeah. Like he's like can't get his way. And I think that you guys gotta hear some of his call outs to Catherine.
Catherine, it's me, Connor. Stop, Catherine. Hurry it up. Catherine, just get me out of here. Stop it, Judge. Stop it.
I love the one at the end when he's just like, Catherine.
I like when he says hurry it up or whatever.
It's totally a real Rolex. You should buy it.
At one
Catherine,
point, he
Catherine.
sounds like a guy in high school trying to like peer pressure his
Yeah,
girlfriend.
exactly.
And be like,
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a little boy.
Right.
Like,
Right.
But
it's
it
her
sounds
brother.
like it sounds like the writer of the show just was like, I'll do this part.
Catherine, come on. Join the Publishers Clearinghouse. Catherine, come on. Hurry up. You stupid.
So basically, Catherine and Rachel, after getting thrown out of the graveyard by the weird undertaker, they basically stumble upon a thrift store where Catherine decides she needs to buy a rando box, which is the sepulcher.
Yeah. I just love the idea of like, hey, you're missing your family. Let's go to a place where a bunch of dead people's things are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is our first example of like the awful parenting in this.
Horrible.
Another example of the awful parenting where she gets so wrapped up in her conversation with the dang undertaker.
With the escapee from Shawshank Prison.
that her daughter just runs off and she doesn't even notice.
And like Eddie Kidd runs right into an antique store.
That's right.
Kids love antiques.
Kids love antiques.
Yeah, right
Well,
next to
but
the grave.
supposedly the ghost is guiding her there or whatever. So he sells them the box, but they don't have the key.
Why is, first of all, if a kid is telling me to buy a box that has like a hand that says stop on it, which it does on the side,
Yeah.
and it's a creepy box, I'd be like, screw you. No, I'm not buying
Yeah.
that for you. The mom
Also, the mom would be like, no, honey, we can't fly back with that.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right. It's not easy to do.
Although this is like before 9/11, so they were a lot looser with the baggage
Sure,
rules. You could probably carry that box in your lap and no one would even care.
I'm also kind of confused how the box even got there in the first place because apparently all the archaeologists died. But
Right.
then someone still brought the box to the
Yeah,
antique
someone
store.
must have found their bodies too.
Yeah, well,
It was,
They
the,
were in a
it was the
grave.
Undertaker,
but the guy at the
guess.
antique store is like, oh, some unfortunate spelunker brought this in or something. And I was like,
Yeah, so whatever.
Well, he just got maimed by
But
the caveman.
he can't find the key, and so he he wants to hook up with the mom, so he makes up like an excuse of like, oh, I'll bring you the key later tonight, and once I find it, blah blah blah.
yeah.
And the shopkeeper played by William Sadler,
Yes.
who is you
All over the
recognize him
place.
from everything.
Grim
but-
Reaper and Bill and Ted.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, as previously mentioned, Shawshank Redemption.
And at some point, the legacy arrives. They're looking for the box also, and in a small town, like bar where I'm sure they would love to get business from visitors. Instead, when these people walk into the bar, everyone just like the music stops. They all stare at them. And they're like, "We don't take kindly to your,
Yeah.
but in Irish."
There's like ADR, some ADR lines of like, oh, is American not looking for a drink? Not here.
Right.
All this really hilarious stuff.
It's like, just sell them a beer. Who gives a crap? Take their money. Like, I don't know, but yeah.
And is this where Derek runs into the priest?
Well, I was gonna say I want to go back. This is before,
Yeah, I think he picked him up on the way.
this is before we get introduced to like I think what is the most hilariously what the fuck character in this thing. So we learn a little bit about the legacy that apparently there's a rule in the legacy where like if you leave it, you can't come back. But we
don't know why. It's
we
just
don't
a thing.
know why. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just the rules. Those are the rules of legacy. It's been going for 3,000 years, whatever. So we get introduced to the priest who has apparently left the legacy, but Derek needs all the help he can get because this is like the big one. They've been looking for this thing for a long time.
You like soccer?
Yeah. So all of a sudden we get a scene where Derek's in a church.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, a soccer ball flies at his face. He catches it. And then the priest says something about how he murdered someone during his soccer game. No, that was such a weird scene, right?
It's an insane scene. It's like they had not decided what this character was going to be, so let's just leave the options on the table. Like, is he a professional soccer player? Is he a priest? I don't know. Let's just have him dress like a soccer player in a church. That way we can go either way.
Yeah, and he's like got his face is bloody, and he's got like bloody knuckles, and he's like, I was really sinful out on the field today, or something like that.
And this guy, even though they established this thing of like, you can't leave the legacy, you can't just come back and go as you please. This guy comes and goes as he please for, it seems like the entire
Everything.
series. I'm not quite sure, but at least in the episodes I saw, sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't there, sometimes he wasn't there, and then he'd show up and everybody would be like, what are you doing back here? And then other times he was like, just there. And so I have
Was
no
his church
idea.
on the Legacy estate? Because I felt like he was just randomly always, like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seemed like he was just around. I want to get into this guy. As we're talking about this character is just so deeply weird. Press the button.
You keep going. He's weird.
I just wanted to get into his storyline of like what happens with like, so they, at some point the demon gets out and they start tricking people.
Yeah, the demons are all going to trick them to get their keys.
Right. And so we get to hear like there was like what's his, it's not Derek, the military dude. Nick's mad at him because there's this girl that got lost, that we don't really know how. And basically what happened is what the demon tells us is that the priest slept with her, was not supposed to, like, while he was taking his vows, then ghosted her, and then this woman killed herself.
Thrown herself in the water.
Like, swam out into the ocean and drowned herself.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the same woman who's from Starship Troopers 2 and House of Cards.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there's like... Yeah,
She's in one scene as a ghost lady that makes out with him.
And so, she shows up as, like, her drowned self and makes out with him and steals a key.
Hello, my love.
By the way, orchestrations arrangements by Mark Mancina for some reason.
I saw that apparently Harry Gregson Williams was involved in this show.
Oh, wow,
at some point
shit.
Too. We got to talk about this guy's acting.
Yeah.
Like, like Elis said
If that's what you want to call it, then sure.
Elis says that he has like an Irish accent, but it's like Ireland by way of Canada. I think, or something.
Very strange.
And he has like when he's introduced, this like soccer scene that he's introduced in was one of the several moments where there's not a lot of things that can make me laugh out loud or exclaim in my apartment watching it by myself, but this was one of them.
Well, they fooled us, didn't they? I'll pray for you, my friend. Come with us. No.
Philip, you are a member of the Legacy.
I was. Not anymore.
No.
What is that line reading?
No.
It always sounds like he has like bread in his mouth or something.
No.
I was.
No. I
just
didn't.
such a weird
When he's fishing and he's like, just let me learn.
Yeah, he's always eating a clam chowder from Disneyland. He just has a bread bowl.
But he has all the best parts in the show.
He
I
does.
think. Well, yeah, there's some other great parts. But
So, yeah, there's all this back and forth with the key. The key doesn't work, so William Sadler takes the box back to his office, successfully opens it, and becomes possessed by the demon.
As one.
he, like the
Right.
smoke monster goes into his mouth. Basically.
Yeah. And then he ends up discovering and killing Julia, who was the hot girl
Who is
member of the Legacy.
not had no character development other
No.
than being, oh, that's a girl.
Let's talk a little bit about
When she walks into the shop and it's covered in blood.
she's just like, wow, look, it's the box everyone wants. Everything's fine.
She gets like scarecrowed.
She does.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about how like I feel like this is like a turning point in the show where things start to get really like super crazy. I feel like up to this point, like the directing and and editing and everything is like fairly straightforward. It's making sense.
This is straightforward Canadian cable.
Yeah, it kind of looks like old. Like you could be like someone could also be like, oh, this is an old BBC show or something.
Or this is
like,
an old episode of Ghost Rider or Wishbone.
or Dark Shadows or something like that. Like it looks like but it's fairly competently made and things make sense. This scene where suddenly the evil possessed like what was his name? Bloom or something like that?
Seamus
Bloom.
Seamus, yeah.
He is possessed and starts chasing her through the streets. But
Right.
there's a point where like she's running from him and then he just stops and then stares. And then the editing gets all crazy and goes like, I don't remember what the term is for when it's like, it kind of goes like negative.
Oh yeah, it goes to negative. Yeah,
They like that effect a lot.
They
of
Yes,
really
it
do.
happens like all the time.
they just got it. Adobe Premiere just had it that year, 96.
Yeah. But she's like running away and she's like running out of the city, running into the cornfield, and he's just standing there and it's like and all these like frenzied like shots of his eyes and the flashing. But he's not doing anything. And then she gets by this scarecrow and just goes, up at the sky, and then his eyes flash again, and that's all you see.
I gotta say, when I got iMovie in 2002, I was real into the negative effect. It was incredibly exciting.
Do you think Scary Stories stole that from the show?
Oh, yeah. I was actually thinking about that during this scene, because that was a very scarecrow-heavy movie.
So her death goes on to motivate the members of the Legacy for the entire series.
Especially
they keep
Nick.
bringing up,
Oh, my
Julia,
God.
I'm mad because it's your fault Julia died, and it's your fault Julia died, and I'm so sad that Julia died, even though we knew nothing about her.
My favorite thing about the context about her death is when this little girl has buried her brother and her father, and this random stranger who she's never met just goes to her and says, you lost some special people, huh? Well, Julia, who I lost, was like my best friend.
Oh yeah.
it's like so like we're going through the same thing right now, and it's like,
computer
no, you buried her father and her brother.
Yeah, well, and
This is a lady that you worked with.
we established that Philip's like demon trick is this lady that he slept with, but for both Nick and Alex, the trick is like, it's me, Julia, like you help me, I'm alive or whatever, and then they get the key from both of them by using that
Because
method.
it's just around their necks.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All this stuff at the end gets real crazy.
So yeah, we got to talk about the hotel room.
This
Oh,
show
yeah.
goes beyond what I would have ever thought.
This show goes exactly what I think that if you you want to make this cable show on Showtime in 1996, well, there better be a softcore element to it because
There is.
we're Showtime.
Yeah, Jennifer, you want to set up this insane
Yes.
scene?
So, the door, there's a knock at Rachel's
yeah.
hotel door. She opens it. It's Seamus with the key, but then she sees her husband. Wait, she's in front of the mirror talking about. He appears as her husband and starts kissing her.
Yeah.
A boob is shown, of course.
Just one
because
boob.
You have to show at least one nipple on cable. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very 90s sex scene. Very 90s. The music.
The wind
Oh,
machine.
it's so great. It was, and then they make sweet love, and he has a tongue that's like a snake.
Oh, that was so gross.
It was super gross.
Yeah.
So, but it's essentially a rape.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but it's also
Halfway,
shot
she
like it's
realized-
supposed to be
Essentially a
hot.
Right? Do we think that like she's like, oh my god, my dead husband, and there's no manipulation from this demon? Like she's just like thinks that it's her husband, or is the demon like releasing pheromones in some way?
I mean, probably.
Yeah,
He's mentally,
because just like it's
mentally
like
fucking with her
I don't
as well.
think that that's a realistic reaction to your dead husband.
Yeah,
Of being like,
yeah.
oh my god, you're finally here. Let's fuck.
I've missed your touch.
Well, like I told you, I did watch some other episodes, and it didn't take me very long to like hammer this format down. And so at this point in this pilot, I'm not like quite sure if Rachel and Kat are like actually part of the cast, or
Right.
if they're the helpless people of the week, because I don't know how episodic this is going to be going forward. And so I kind of thought that they were just these are the people we're helping this week, but no, they are like main cast members for the entire season, and Rachel becomes a part of the legacy.
Like yeah, Rachel joins the team. Right?
She does. She ends up they end up living there with them in the house and all this stuff. But every episode is like pretty much you can get it down into like Derek either touches something or has a dream that gives him some kind of vision about whatever's happening. Then he sends
Dutch
Rachel and one other person, usually Nick, to go investigate. And then they somehow get trapped or attacked or whatever by demons, and Rachel either gets possessed and or raped or almost like sexually assaulted by whatever the demon is, and then Derek comes in and saves them. That's like,
do you see her boob in every episode?
No, so none of the other ones I watched
That's disappointing.
had a boob. So this was the only one I saw that had a boob. That doesn't mean there's not boobs in other episodes, but I never saw boobs again, especially not Helen Shaver's boob.
Left boob.
I mean,
left boob.
after her performance in the first episode, I would not have invited her to be on The Legacy.
Well, I mean, you have stellar acting like Phillips.
She cannot be trusted.
No.
She's fucking shit up left and right.
She always gets possessed and always gets almost raped.
She's kind of like the slutty one of the
One of the other
guess so.
one of the other moments that I laughed out loud was the literal climax of this episode.
when Kat walks in.
Yeah.
What the?
And then he's like, oh!
Yeah, that was amazing.
And it's like negative shot. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then he immediately jumps out the window.
I also want to say bad parenting because lock that connecting door if you're going to have
That's right.
sexy time.
If you would have the foresight if your dead husband came back and it's
let's
time to
lock
go
the
to
door first.
the bone zone, you lock that door. Of course.
Yeah, Catherine comes in and he hisses at her with that tongue, and I was like, ugh.
The tongue is real gross. But yeah, I think in the first Poltergeist, when the demon was going after her after she got out of the tub and everything and in the bed, and I think I remember exactly saying, if she gets raped by this demon, I'm out, I'm done. Like,
Right.
and then this happens in this episode, and I was like,
the show is heavy on demon rape.
It is. And then it's immediately like, oh, this demon baby's growing super fast.
So fast.
which, we've seen enough horror movies to know that demon babies do grow super fast.
Yeah.
That umbilical cord, though. Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
That's my favorite part.
So this is, we have now gotten to the main talking point of this
Yeah,
episode.
so they transport Rachel and Kat back to the Legacy house in San Francisco to figure out what the hell is happening with Demon Fetus.
Yes, which develops in like a day. to
in a
9
day.
months. Yeah.
And so the demon fetus is born very, very quickly.
We witness a totally normal at-home birth.
It's a totally normal at-home birth. And it immediately scuttles out.
I like when it looks at her when it comes
it's
out.
like,
Oh,
It looks
so
up at her with
gross.
black eyes.
It's a
was
little
so
puppet.
gross.
And it's not a good enough practical effect where they can actually like give it any screen time as you just see a blur. And then so it crawls across the floor. The umbilical cord is still attached, and she starts to be dragged around the room by this
Pretty
demon.
sure you'd be dead. Like, I think it would
It
pull
was-
out
also
everything.
so crazy.
Also, like she has a placenta that's like an anchor.
yeah.
Stuck in her.
She's getting dragged like up the wall and everything.
And the most hilarious part of this scene is that how does she get out of this predicament? She's being dragged around by this demon baby, dragged around by the umbilical cord. It's horrible and terrifying. But luckily, there is a sculpture that has a sword attached to it.
A really like racist Asian sculpture of like an Asian warrior holding a sword.
And by random happenstance, Mazel Tov, it gets cut.
Wraps around the sword.
Thank God.
Yeah. And then it just kind of and goes away and then goes and then tempts them 3 times and gets all the keys.
Because it turns into her son, right?
Right. It turns into a bunch of stuff. It's like
This-
a weird anamorph.
It's weird because it
shape-shifty thing.
turns into her son becomes like the chosen, his preferred form.
The gozer. Of,
Yeah, but then he turns into like sexy
stupid.
girl who
It's
makes
so
out with the
stupid.
priest,
Yeah.
but then once he successfully gets the key, he turns into the little boy again. It's like,
Yeah.
haha, we just made out.
you.
Bye.
And the priest runs away like, sweet Jesus. That was
Oh my god, I
favorite
just
part.
made out with a little
and
boy.
she's all
no.
mucusy. And so here's the thing: like the only thing that this demon can do is trick them. He's using like manipulating their emotions. But then at some point, he just blows up a fucking helicopter.
Yep.
Like not like through like, oh, I knocked over this can of gas or whatever. It's just like, no, that helicopter is gonna get blown up.
All the stuff with the demon kid is so funny.
Yes.
Like because each time they show him, it's like some like crazy edit to like a speed zoom camera thing, like really fast, like and and he just like smiles and laughs, and it's all fast forward motion. It's like so fucking
And
stupid.
Occasionally goes to negative.
Yes.
I want to know what that kid's doing now.
I love, and the scene where it's like Philip made out with a boy. It's so funny.
That's so good. The priest really made out with the kid.
Yeah.
I did not find the little boy, but I focused all my child star checking energy on Alexandra Purvis, the main girl who plays Kat. She's in Santa Claus 2 as Eric Lloyd's little girlfriend at school. And her name was Danielle. And then the most recent news I could find about her was that in 2006, she was recognized as the seller of the week in Burnaby, Canada for American Income Life, which I'm pretty sure is a multi-level marketing scheme.
She's making it happen.
That's MLM.
Herbalife.
Hey, at least she's alive.
Yes, she is
And
alive.
selling Herbalife.
But I did not find the little demon boy. There are in the 5 episodes I watched, there were 4 different little ghost boys, and I just did not have the energy because they were all white and they all had generic names.
There's too many white ghost boys.
There is.
It's
Where's the
It's just true.
inclusivity?
That's
yeah.
right.
They also have anytime someone's possessed by a demon, they have these hilarious stretchy face effects that they're doing on their bodies.
It's a little bit Buffy.
Oh, you're right.
yeah,
it's
but
a little bit Buffy.
But Buffy was actual makeup.
Sure.
What year was
This was
Buffy?
not.
No, I had that same thought. Was this pre or post Buffy? Or simultaneous?
I feel like it's got to be really close. I can look. But yeah, the way they implement that stuff is just really funny. Let's see. It was 97 for Buffy, which is what I thought.
The next year.
Yeah,
How come
pretty close.
the
The
effects
very
on
next
Buffy,
year.
which are much better than
They are.
Legacy?
Because they did practical effects.
They did.
Yay.
No
I mean,
negative.
They do some practical effects in this.
And then there's some PlayStation 1 graphics brought to life.
Oh yeah, when one of the bodies disintegrates, there's maggots or something.
Oh, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seamus Bloom or whatever his body.
Seamus.
One that they really start to favor later is the stretchy hallway effect that they use in the original couple Poltergeists. That's a popular one.
And they also have this spinning one time they show the whole room just spinning crazy, which I thought kind of cool.
So, yeah, what this demon ends up tempting and all of the team members, and you see how dumb all the team members are.
Yes.
Really
I feel like that the only one that's not egregious is the military dude. He thinks he's killed Kat. He thinks he shot her.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, haha, I'm actually just the little demon boy.
And
then
it's
he
like,
steals,
"Son of a boy,"
he
and then
he steals the key. I was like, okay, that one makes sense. All the other ones are just I'm your dad. I'm your friend. It's you know this. You're part of a secret society.
And Derek even stabs his fake dad through with a knife, giant sword, and somehow he still gets the key. I don't really know.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he gets is that this episode? Oh, no, it's not. Never mind.
His dad's that you could be on the bad side. Could be fun.
Yeah.
Could be fun.
Yeah, this keeps coming up, and the Tangina episode, he ends up killing his ghost dad again with a giant Godric Gryffindor sword that comes out of nowhere.
The ghost is already dead, so you're gonna just have to kill him over and over.
Yes, but this death that we see in this episode actually ends up being the official second death of the ghost dad that comes into play for the series finale.
He kills Bill Cosby.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Bill Cosby kills that.
My bad.
I remember.
No, I don't mean to invoke that. There's already enough rape here. Okay.
He shows up in episode 3.
Yeah.
Well, everybody ends up on the roof of the San Francisco house.
Yes.
Yep.
The San Francisco Island.
That's right. And the sepulchers have all been put together. There's a beam of light coming out, and Connor's like, "Give me that key." He turns all Freddy Krueger and is like, "Give me that key, bitch. Give me that key,
I made that
bitch."
same joke. I was like, oh, Freddy's here for some reason.
And he goes over the edge of the roof like, fuck, I'm falling. And then Rachel still, even though she like,
That's my baby boy.
yeah, even moments before she was like, I'm not giving you this key. You're not coming.
Yeah, she goes to her daughter. She's like, give me the key, and her daughter's like, no, I'm pure, I can. And she's like, trust me, and it's like, no, we've seen
You are not to
literally
be trusted.
the
There's like
past
4 different false
You made out with the
wins and
demon.
defeats.
like we've literally watched 30 minutes of this thing tricking everybody, and
Especially Rachel.
yeah.
Rachel is the easiest.
And she's like, no, trust me. And it's like, oh, mom's saying no. Like, I'm going to give her the key. And then she gives her the key, and then she's just like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm like, well, what is that? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Because she's the adult.
Yeah, why is that any different? And then the kid just flies off the roof.
The kid flies off the roof, but then he's hanging on the edge like, Mommy, help me. And she's like, oh, my son is dying.
Forgets that
And I'm like, come on. What are you doing?
by the way,
I thought you had learned.
It's just creepy too, because it's like that's your demon spawn that raped you. Like, let it die.
Right, you let it die. Let it fall into the CG fog
mean,
below.
And they open up the gate of hell. All 5 boxes are unlocked and open. The gates of hell are open, but apparently you could just seal everything up again by just getting everybody to turn the keys back the other way.
So knowing what I knew that this was like 88 episodes of television, I was like, oh, is this the inciting incident where they fuck up
that's
and
what I
like
thought.
and unleash? It's
That
like
would
it's
make
like
more
it's like the
sense.
Ghostbusters
Yeah,
containment
that's what it was, yeah.
explosion. It's like, okay, so like the entire show is gonna be them tracking down these demons because it's like, hey, like we really fucked up and like we have to make it right. Turns out no. Turns out it's just
apparently they just cry over Julie's death the rest of the episode.
I was like, I don't understand what this is. Like, I thought that was going to be that, but then they wrap it up. So I'm like, wow, is every episode going to have stakes that are at that level and they're going to wrap it up every week? Like, this is crazy.
There's one episode where he just plays soccer and it's fine.
It's really violent.
Yeah, he's like, we got to beat those Satanists on the pitch.
So before we go on into the series, like, what do we think about this episode as a pilot?
The best pilot that's ever existed, obviously.
So,
I love that we learn you can cut off the heads of ghosts.
yes.
And that demons have very strong umbilical cords.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
Rosemary's
Yeah.
Baby, that probably was a bitch to cut.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Has to be diamond tipped. I think that for 1996, I don't have a strong concept of like what was happening with serialized TV, but just knowing that it was on the same like Stargate came right afterwards, it's like I love dumb like sci-fi thriller horror serialized shows like this, and it seems like it's kind of pioneering. It seems really dumb and hokey, and the characters are incredibly clunky. But I also don't think that at the time there was anything on TV that was quite like it. And
Like a supernatural procedural.
Well,
Yeah.
you know that was 5 years earlier, and I was 11 at the time. So I'm old as fuck. But Dark Shadows, I was obsessed
Yes.
with it. One season, I was obsessed with it. Very bad acting. Not a super vampire-y,
Sure.
not supernaturally.
blah.
But as far as acting and the effects go, right on
Well, yeah.
par with
And this show comes from some of the creators of the newer Outer Limits show.
Yep.
That had started just like a year
Well,
before
and a lot of and X-Files was already happening and
Oh,
all
it
of that.
was?
Like, yes. So like I
Like, this is on the up and up of these episodic genre shows.
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
kind of pioneering, like you guys mentioned, Buffy, obviously like Supernatural and Smallville, all
Yeah.
these other things. And then like at some point it takes a turn where people start to turn against that and they're like, oh, Freak of the Week stuff is so stupid, blah, blah, blah.
It needs to have an overarching mythology. Yeah.
Which like this sort of does, but it alternates between like 1 or 2 episodes that are capsules and then maybe a couple episodes that will touch the overarching topic of Derek and his dad and the legacy and how Rachel is involved and so this thing, like the 5 sepulchers, actually is like the thing for the whole series.
Oh my
this
God.
incident
Oi.
keeps coming back. Like we keep mentioning it over and over, and it keeps.
Did they
becoming a
lose
thing.
boxes? Because they have 4 of them.
You know, I don't know.
It starts with them having all of them. They get the 5th one.
They always have to mention this like again and again about that one time, you know, blah blah blah. But like,
Did they get better with the keys? Or are they
I think that it's not so much that the sepulcher gets opened again and again, but it's like this mythology of his dad and the time he stabbed his already dead dad with the sword. and when they first met Rachel. Like, that continues to just be like, this is
just
our
uses it as
overarching
therapy.
mythology. Like, I'll tell you, it'd probably be better if I was drunk and this was like a drunk history retelling, but
Right.
let me tell you what I did watch. So, episode 3, because these are like technically 1 and 2. So episode 3, Derek's friend from boarding school is accused of beating his son like almost to death, but it turns out it was like actually a ghost that was doing it. And then later,
Oh, so it's fine.
yeah, later they find out that the reason is because the guy had an illegitimate child with a girlfriend, and then he spurned the girlfriend and she went crazy and drowned the boy. So that little boy is haunting his new little boy. And
Right.
like the way they resolve this is that the ghost boy just kills the dad and the dad's just dead. And like Derek's like, all right, successful saving of a little
Derek
boy.
just likes going around killing dads. 'cause
Yeah.
he-
So
Justice.
yeah, episode 4 is like a secret Brigadoon style town that only appears once every, however many years. And I got excited because I was really hoping this was like a Kane reference.
I got excited just by that description.
It's a crazy preacher that said, the world is going to be engulfed in flames. It's end times. You got to stay with me. That's the only way to survive. It's like a Roanoke type thing. And, Rachel and Nick end up getting trapped in there, and then she almost gets raped by the creepy pastor, and then
Why doesn't Nick get raped?
I don't know.
why is it-
By the way,
He
the
deserves it.
abusive dad
No one
episode,
deserves it.
Nick really didn't want to help the abusive dad, or the accused abusive dad, because his dad was abusive and was friends with Derek, and Derek never helped him because he didn't know he was abusive. So Nick was mad.
Oh God, Nick is like a bratty kid.
Yeah.
He's the bratty teenager.
He really is. And so then if you skip forward to episode 19, Rachel's aunt dies and they inherit like a southern plantation complete with a slave who's basically like, Miss Catherine didn't let me do blah, 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 and goes crazy and is like in the jail, like spouting like weird southern, like Gone with the Wind style, like, I
No,
don't
thank you.
yeah, and it turns out that her mom and aunt hated each other because they both liked the same guy, and her aunt was into satanic stuff and was trying to become pregnant with a demon baby by having sex with her fiance, but it killed him.
Wait,
in the
this is
ritual.
all in Splash Mountain?
My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Yeah, and so then it eventually comes out in the Tangina episode, which is after this and connected to it. It's another like part 1, part 2 thing, that Derek's dad was actually evil. And that's like when this whole Indiana Jones thing that you saw happen.
He tried to kill Paddington.
He killed, Derek's dad killed Rachel's mom.
Of course.
Thinking that it was the evil aunt who was trying to make the demon baby.
No.
He accidentally killed her mom instead.
See, every
doesn't make
episode would
sense.
be a lot easier if they just kept the boxes open and they were going after the ghost.
Yeah.
Sometimes shows are better when the writer's room does not have access to the characters.
Yeah. Well, and I want to mention, too, that they kind of ran out of material. So the entire last episode of the first season is a clip show about Derek being put on trial for being a bad leader of the Legacy House by the other Legacy people from other countries.
And then the soup Nazis there.
Yeah, it's like a very
and-
side.
Yeah, it's like a clip show. And then in the second season, they ran out even sooner, and there's 2 clip shows at the end.
Is it a double trial?
I didn't know. I didn't get to that one. I meant to watch it, but I just
It's
became
just him being.
exhausted.
He's actually at the gates of heaven, be like, "No, I lived a good life.
Yeah.
Look at all my good deeds."
In season 4, they decided to do a crossover with Showtime's most popular program at the time, WWE. And
Oh,
so
yes.
The Undertaker
God, yes.
comes
I love
and
that.
is trying to drag Nick's already deceased brother into hell, and he's like the soul chaser, but he's the Undertaker also.
I did read about this, and that it was one of the most successful crossover. Like, it was heavily watched. People,
The Undertaker.
people
yes.
were excited about the Undertaker.
I'll watch
Yeah.
The Undertaker.
That's right.
So then real quick, the way the series ends is that Derek's father, he realizes that he actually killed him twice. The first time when he was little, and then the second time when he killed him with the sword on the night depicted in this pilot. And so somehow the dad is going to destroy the house and open up a secret gate to hell that was underneath the house
behind the laser map.
Yeah.
And the brass knuckle wall.
Although there has been absolutely no precursors or hints to this, Alex admits that she's been in love with Derek the whole time, and then he also admits that he was also in love with her the whole time, but he can't do anything about it now because he has to go sacrifice himself to close the gate of hell, and the whole house and the island blows up and it all burns down to the ground, but
oh my God,
they're saved because he sacrifices himself. The end.
Okay, what does this have to do with Poltergeist? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Nothing.
So, I mean, it's MGM. They made it. They obviously took the name because they have the rights to it, but it's got nothing to do with anything other than that one Tangina Christina situation.
Yeah. And I mean, as awful as all that sounds, apparently there are like real fans of this show.
There are. I have to say the Legacy Web site was very helpful to me in all my research.
They have an FAQ on the Legacy website, and apparently fans refer to the show as PTL.
Yeah.
P:'TL.
Yeah, P:'TL.
And I saw this pop up in reviews on Amazon and all over the place. In fact, you know what? There was one review on Amazon I wanted to read real quick.
Okay.
For you guys. There, you know, I thought like that a lot of the bad reviews would be funny, but it's actually this like over enthusiastic review. That is pretty hilarious. And it's the first one that pops up, so you probably, if you've ever looked up this show, you've seen it. It says, "Wow, I just finished the 90-minute premiere episode of this series. There was no point in waiting any further before logging in this critique. If you saw the series in its U.S. release back in the 80s, you ain't seen nothing yet."
In the 90s?
90s, 96.
It says 80s. This is the European version of the show and is as R-rated as any theatrical feature of the time. The scares are quite creepy, with eye-popping special effects, and the sex includes a demonic seduction that leaves nothing to the imagination.
Just one nipple.
Keep the kitties in the other room, mommy.
Oh my God.
That's the limit of imagination.
This is Halloween for the grown-ups.
Oh my God, this person.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
There's a IMDb review.
This is Halloween for the grown-ups.
There's an IMDb review that's basically like, it's the best show ever. Just watch it and you'll know.
I do feel like it's came out at the time where like it's very. It could easily be the first show of this type that you saw, and just by like, I've never seen anything like this, and you become a fan of it. Like,
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it ran. You know, like it ran for 4 seasons.
Yep,
88. That's not nothing.
And like, also, can we all just sit and appreciate and thank Lost for getting rid of the 22 episode season from those shows?
Yes.
Can we just say like,
speaking of Lost,
the writer's strike that did it.
I have a game because there are many, many, many character actors and famous people that appear in the 88 episodes of this very long show over the years, and many of them, you know, cut their teeth, I guess, as guest stars by appearing here. So I already talked to you about Tangina.
Racking my brain for J.J. Abrams' favorite Canadians.
Yeah, well, I will tell you just like quickly some of our favorites. Twin Peaks, Major Briggs is in an episode playing basically Major Briggs,
My favorite
but a real estate agent.
of all time is Bobby Briggs.
Yes.
I can talk for an hour. I won't go on about it.
From Lost, we have Fionnuala Flanagan, who plays Eloise Widmore in Lost. And so then here's a game for you that you can try to guess some of the other people that appear in this show.
We're ready.
So,
What are the
in honor of, there's not really much rules because it's kind of, and I forgot to tell Justin to get yay and nay sounds.
Okay.
So you can just try to guess. Some of them are open-ended. So in honor of Helen Shaver being from Tremors 2, which original Tremors perfection resident appears later on in Poltergeist Legacy?
Kevin Bacon.
It is not Kevin Bacon. How about everybody gets one guess?
I'm like, I gotta look up the cast again.
Just guess someone that you know off the top of your
That
head.
other guy with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that other guy.
Fred Ward? Is that what you're trying to guess?
Fred Ward.
It is not Fred Ward.
Dang it.
The girl from Jurassic Park.
No.
What about Michael Gross?
No. It is Victor Wong Chang of Chang's Market.
Oh.
Who names the Graboids.
Nice.
There you go.
Which Bluth family member appears
Really?
on this show?
Jeffrey Tambor.
No.
Oh.
That would have been great.
Jessica Walters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did it. You did it. Okay.
I really wish it was Jeffrey Tambor.
So, Robbie Chong plays, what's her face in the show? Alex. So which other Chong family member appeared on the show? Is it Radon Chong, who's famous for being in Color Purple? Yeah. Is it Marcus Chong, who was in The Matrix? Or is it Tommy Chong of course, Cheech and Chong?
I hope it's Tommy Chong.
I hope it's Tommy Chong.
It's not.
Radon.
It is Radon. Yeah. She, a guest appearance for her sister's show later on.
I really wanted to be
Which
Tommy
member
Chong.
of the Breakfast
Chong,
Club comes into Poltergeist Legacy?
Emilio Estevez.
I was going to say
No,
Emilio.
it is not Emilio.
God, which one?
Jennifer Grey?
No,
Anthony
she's-
Michael
I know.
Hall?
It is Anthony
Yeah, I was
Michael
like,
Hall.
who's the least
Yeah.
successful? I was like, Anthony Michael
He does show up. So sequel rights edition, which one of these 4 people appears? Is it Ellie Harvey, the mom from Home Alone 5? Is it Frank Grillo of The Purge? Is it Kevin Kilner from Home Alone 3, the dad? Or is it Jake Busey from Roadhouse and Starship Troopers?
I gotta believe that Jake Busey's like herpes.
I was like, you know
can't
you
get
wanted
rid
to
of
be
him.
Jake Busey.
Any guesses? Any other guesses?
He said Jake
Alone
Busey.
mom.
No, it is not Jake Busey. It is not the mom from Home Alone. They all appear. Or no, sorry, wait. Jake Busey does not appear.
Oh.
So yeah, the mom, the dad, and Frank Grillo appear on this show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry, my
Frank
bad.
Grillo's on
So
the
Jake
show?
Busey was the correct
But we
answer.
can all agree if there was a 5th season, Busey was going to be in it.
absolutely.
I wish Busey was in it, but okay. And so finally, which Disney actor does not appear? Is it Rene Auberjonois, Chef Louis from Little Mermaid? Is it David Ogden Stiers, Cogsworth? Is it Tony Amendola, who plays Geppetto on Once Upon a Time? Or is it Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa, who is Johnny Tsunami's dad?
I feel like Johnny Tsunami's dad's definitely in this.
I don't know. The chef.
Cogsworth.
They're all in it! Trick question!
Why? I was like, yeah,
Murder,
Johnny
She Wrote.
Tsunami's dad's in this.
So, yes.
Murder, She Wrote? Yeah.
Everybody's in Murder, She Wrote. Every actor over a certain age has
That's
been
right.
in one
Or
Murder,
like
She
if
Wrote.
you're a New York actor, you've been in Law and Order
every
probably
single
more
one.
than once.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and Murder, She Wrote was on for a lot longer time, right?
I love that show so much. I'm
if you have a SAG card and you like once you hit your like 50th birthday, it's like now like you've been called. You're on
Hey,
Murder, She Wrote.
have
Yeah.
you been on Poltergeist: The Legacy yet?
Yeah, I mean,
Quite a roster.
it's a lot of people, and I
Shoots
went
in
through the list, and I just kept seeing people, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I went through it a second time and like clicked on names that I wasn't quite sure of, and then remembered like, "Oh yeah, that guy was the dad in Home Alone 3." Dang! Like, so
That's bananas. Well, basic. Well, I guess premium cable television that moved to basic cable
And
television.
surprisingly enough, the creator of the show really hadn't done much writing before or after, and it's done more producing than anything.
yeah, and this show we should
Not
say,
much of a legacy.
if we didn't already, it's currently completely available on Amazon Prime if you
Yeah?
want to watch it. If you're really into genre stuff, I'm sure it is like there are episodes that are entertaining. There were some parts that I definitely liked about it, but yeah, it's very it leans heavily on the she's possessed and getting raped again, and it just kind
I
of
mean, Supernatural's the same show.
Yeah.
It's Halloween
much.
for adults.
Yeah, it's Halloween for adults. My dad's the president.
Yeah.
So do we want to do a rating?
I mean, I think we do.
I think we have to.
You have anything?
Oh, I feel like it's how many demon slot boxes.
Slot boxes.
Demon slot box.
Boxes. I know what I'm doing with that phrasing.
All right. I will go first here. I'm going to give it 2 demon slot boxes.
Yeah.
Which is not enough to form a pentagram. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All I can do is form like a line.
It does not form a portal for you watching the rest of the show.
There was like a moment early on where I was like, oh man, like I would be interested to maybe watch this because it looks crazy.
Yeah.
And then it got so stupid
real
that I was like, I
boring.
can't do this. But as you might have heard in this episode, I had a lot of fun watching this because it was so stupid, but it wasn't enough fun for me to give it more than a 2.
Yeah.
I am somewhat shocked that this went on for 88 episodes.
Yeah,
honestly.
me too.
I feel like
maybe back then they just gave the shows more the benefit of the doubt because they were premium channels and the ratings were kind of like.
I think I found there was like I think it was an old article on Variety that said that Showtime had greenlit 43 episodes like from the get-go.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So like that's pretty crazy. And it's a shame that there's not any stronger connection to the show, but I guess, to the original films. But I guess the name itself was enough to maybe bring some people over. And but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would watch the rest of the episodes.
Yeah, I will give it 3 demon slot boxes. It was not great, but I think that for me, having watched a few more episodes, the capsule, episodes worked a lot better, I thought, than the overarching story, which is just kind of all over the place and stupid, and the fact that these people are connected cosmically is just crazy. It's because of how they met was being totally random.
And a lot of daddy issues.
Yeah, daddy issues, demon rapes, dead kids, it's
Typical
we're
everyday problems.
We're all connected.
Yeah, so that I would give it 3. When we started this, I totally had the same intentions, and I was like, I'm going to do exactly what I did for Tremors. Justin and Tyler are just going to watch one episode. I'm going to watch the whole series and come in and be able to talk about everything. I could not do it. I just could not. We only had 1 week, and I just I fell asleep during some of these. I would just get distracted. I'd be like, oh, what's going on Facebook?
I wonder why.
Yeah.
It was tough.
They are not compelling.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, Jennifer.
I think I will give it 3 slot boxes.
Oh,
One
really?
box for the umbilical cord. One for Philip's fine acting, and a
No.
third one for her nipple.
Yeah.
There you go.
It left nothing to the imagination.
I can back that rating.
Yeah, it's like a rating.
I believe in symmetry, so I know what the other one looks like.
That might be one of the most well thought out ratings we've ever had.
Yeah. That was impressive.
The umbilical cord. It's a whole box.
That was wild.
I'm going to go with 2. I found it to be, I guess it was so loosely attached, unlike the umbilical cord, to the film franchise. And the film franchise didn't get into any arcane bullshit, which this is the only thing that the show has to offer is like secret societies and bullshit. I feel like the thing that I love about the original Poltergeist is that it's just kind of the crass commercial disrespect for human life and just moving a cemetery of any kind. It doesn't have to be sacred, doesn't have to be anything. It was just a disrespect of what came before is the kind of trespass that opened up this cosmic gateway. And in this, it's like, oh, there's incantations and bullshit, and I feel like it kind of takes away from the retelling of a ghost story in modern times at a suburb and everything else like that. So, again, it's one of those things is everything else in the series after the first one that diminishes the excellence of the first one.
Yeah.
And if I never saw another demon rape scene again in my life, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we probably will, tomorrow.
You know what we should see? Like, there's a lot of Roman ghosts out there. Some Caligula is going to go, get some guy. Where's that scene?
Where's Caligula? Boning anybody he finds.
That's right.
There was honestly a moment earlier this week that we were watching this and it's so disconnected that I was like, did we mess up by watching this?
Yeah,
I know.
no,
I also thought that after the first episode.
I was like, is this actually not related? Literally not related at all?
Yeah.
But no, it's the same.
Yeah.
I don't think we're in trouble of having a remake of it. Like they redid Creepshow, Twilight. I don't think they're going to do Legacy anytime soon.
Well, yeah.
Legacy.
You never know, though.
Yeah, you never know. Speaking of remakes,
yeah.
Next week we are on the remake train with Poltergeist from 2015.
That's right.
Ooh.
I have not seen it.
I was actually excited for this and then didn't go to see it because I heard it was bad. So
This movie has people I like.
yeah,
Sam Rockwell.
Academy Award winner, Sam Rockwell.
maybe that's part of the problem.
Emmy Award winner, Jared Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot
He's
that
so hot right now, Jared.
He's so radioactively hot right now. He captained that scary boat in the first season of The Terror.
I always think of him as when he played Andy Warhol a million years ago. But that's what he looks like to me forever.
Well, we're going to be watching 2015 Poltergeist next week, but
Platinum Dunes, The Purge, and Michael
Platinum
Bay.
Dunes.
Platinum Dunes.
But for now, I just want to say a very big thank you to Jennifer for being on this podcast.
Yes.
Hopefully, you don't feel like, why the fuck did I agree to talk about this crazy show?
No, I like talking about weird shit. I'll be here anytime.
Well, you were awesome. We're great, very grateful for having you this week.
Yeah, is there anywhere that people can follow you or anything you want to mention that you're up to?
Yes. So we are currently working on 2 shows that will be streaming on Amazon News. Mine is more horror related, and Mike's is fancier. But mine will be the cool show.
So when is that launching?
So we're going to launch them the beginning of the year. We're filming stuff right now, but yeah, if you can follow us on Instagram at Muse TV, or my Instagram's Jennifer E. Ortega, because there's 5 million Jennifer Ortegas.
Got it.
If you really like us, please go on YouTube. Just search Muse TV. Subscribe to us because we're very close to 10,000.
Ooh.
Nice.
And when you hit 10,000, you get like a balloon or some crap.
Yeah, you could be the 10,000th
person.
Yes.
subscriber.
And William Sadler will knock on your door.
He will. We'll find him.
And his face will be like,
And don't let him kiss you because that leads to demon babies.
Right.
Yeah. Oof. So yeah, like we said, only one more episode for Poltergeist. So please email us sequelrights@gmail.com with your questions, comments, and suggestions for future franchises. Maybe something Christmassy coming up. I don't know.
Family friendly.
Yeah.
Something that you're thankful for.
And then also find us on social media. We are not close to 10,000 followers. So,
So get on it. Yeah.
Stop being lazy.
Check us out,
Yeah.
Muse TV watchers.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter @Sequel Rights.
And rate and review us on Apple Podcasts.
It
It means a
takes 1
lot.
second. And it takes 1 second. Be a good person. I mean,
Yeah. It just helps. Like, what do you got to do?
I'll beat
You just
up if you
got
don't.
to drag your finger across the stars.
Clickety clack. Do it.
Click.
We'll see you guys next week. Jennifer, thanks again for being here. We'll be back next week for Poltergeist 2015. Catherine! Open the box, Catherine!